With Glenn Miller's greatest hit. This is Ed Hurley. Please join me and reawaken old memories and make some wonderful new ones with the world-famous Glenn Miller Orchestra under the direction of Larry O'Brien. And now, here is your host, America's favorite television and recording star, the beautiful and delightful Kathy Lee Gifford.
Thank you, everybody, and good evening. Music has always been one of the most important parts of my life, and that's why I'm so glad to join Larry O'Brien and the Glenn Miller Orchestra for some of the greatest popular music ever recorded. The music Glenn Miller performed, broadcast, and recorded is still heard around the world. Songs like In the Mood and Moonlight Serenade transcend generations and are as well known today as when they were released a half-century ago. Glenn Miller's story is not the money he earned or the fame he achieved. It's the timeless songs he selected and the melodies he molded in his unique style. Marion Hutton and the Modern Airs made this song one of the biggest hits of 1942.
Mopping up soda pop rickies to our heart's delight. Dancing to swingaroo quickies, jukebox Saturday night.
Goodman and Dorsey and Miller helped to make things bright.
Mixing hot flakes of vanilla, jukebox Saturday night. They put nothing past us,
Me and Honey Lamb,
making one Coke blaster. Still it's time to scram. Money we really don't need, that
we'll make out all right.
letting the other guy feed that jukebox Saturday night. After sipping a soda, we got a scheme. Somebody else plays a record machine. It's so easy to say pet names when you listen to the trumpet of Harry James.
We love to hear that tenor croon whenever Blue Eyes sings a tune.
I'll never smile again until I smile at you. I'll never laugh again. What good would it do? For tears would fill my eyes, my heart would realize that our romance is through. I'll never love again. I'm so in love with you. I'll never thrill again to somebody new. Within my heart, I know I will never start to smile again until I smile at you. Money, we really don't need it. We'll make out all right. Let the other guy feed that jukebox Saturday night.
The Moonlight Serenaders, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to identify them for you. Miss Julia Rich from Nashville, Tennessee. Mr. Jeff Collins from New York City. Mr. Jeff Wilfall from Schenectady, New York. Mr. Bill Kodaba from Minnesota. Mr. Carey Shealy, Rockford, Illinois. The Moonlight Serenaders.
The ballrooms are usually so crowded that you couldn't get too energetic, except there are always 2 or 3 pockets in the ballroom where the people will really be showing off, and they would be doing their own style of Lindy Hoppers and jitterbug and that sort of thing, you know. We used to call it the hot corner, and Glenn was very conscientious to see to it that the people were getting out on the floor.
Here's a hit song that was featured in Orchestra Wives, At Last. I've always loved the saxophone, probably because my daddy played it in his band. Tex Beneke was Glenn Miller's sax player and often a featured vocalist with the band.
Willie Schwartz playing lead clarinet, and so forth on down the line. You know, Hal McIntyre and Eddie Caceres on altos, Tex Beneke and Al Klink on tenor sax, and you got an all-star saxophone section.
Glenn Miller had many hits in 1941, and here's one of them, Perfidia.
Perfidia, for I found you the love of my life. in somebody else's arms. Your eyes are echoing perfidia, forgetful of our promise of love. You're sharing another's charms.
With a sad lament, my dreams have faded like a broken melody.
While the gods of love look down and laugh at what romantic fools we mortals be. And now I know my love was not for you, and so I'll take it back with a sigh. Perfidia's one goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
I was in school at the time Glenn Miller became famous, and when that music played, you knew that it was Glenn Miller, and we knew that the dance music was going to be absolutely perfect. The beat was good, and to dance to this kind of music, you had to experience it. The music was so magnificent.
In 1941, a Chicago undertaker's assistant named Elmer Albrecht composed a little tune as a piano warm-up. Elmer loved to go next door to practice at the world-famous Aragon Ballroom, where somebody heard it and sent it to Glenn Miller, who liked it so much he recorded it. And Elmer's tune became a big hit. It sold over 1 million records and stayed on the hit parade for 17 weeks.
The stars always winking and blinking above. What makes a fella start thinking of falling in love? It's not the season, the reason is plain as a boo. It's just Elmer's tune. What makes a lady of 80 go out on the loose? Why does the gander meander in search of a goose? What puts the kick in a chicken, the magic in June? It's just Elmer's tune. Listen, listen, there's a lot you're liable to be missing. Sing it, swing it, any old way and any old time. The hurdy-gurdies, the birdies, the cop on the beat, the candy maker, the baker, the man on the street, the city charmer, the farmer, the man in the blue, and I'll sing Elmer's tune. Hurdy-gurdy, the cap on the beat. The baker and the man on the street. The city charmer, the farmer, the man in the moon, all sing Elmer's tune. They all sing Elmer's tune. They all sing Elmer's tune. Sing Elmer's tune.
The Moonlight Serenaders.
The Glenn Miller Band used to get those people up on the floor within a few measures. People would leave stakes, they would just drop everything and just jump up on that dance floor. And it was an amazing thing to watch.
When Glenn organized his own band in 1937, he packed it with some of the best young talent of the day and began to evolve the great sound that became his signature. Remember the famous trombones, ooh-ah, ooh-ah? Oh, yes, most fans could identify a Miller arrangement on the radio almost instantly, even on an old popular standard like Danny Boy. Just listen.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
He crafted something extremely accessible for people. And the worthiness of his contribution can be measured in one simple fact. 50 years after his death, we're still talking about him and commenting about his music.
Of all the many Glenn Miller hits, this one's one of my favorites. I think you'll like it as much as I do.
We'll be right back with more Glenn Miller memories, including the song that became America's anthem, In the Mood. So you get in the mood yourself and go over to the phone and call this public television station right now with a generous pledge of financial support. And then come back for more of Glenn Miller's greatest hits.
Absolutely. Pledge your financial support for this kind of programming because you know this is the only place you're able to see it. Right here on channels 45 and 49, this kind of programming isn't carried on commercial TV or cable TV or anywhere else but public TV because audiences just aren't large enough for this programming. But does that mean it's not important? Of course it's important. It's important to entertain you and bring you the kind of music you enjoy, and that's what we do here on channels 45 and 49. My name's Pat Fatone. I'm from the staff of channels 45 and 49, and I do want to welcome you to a night of great music here on your public television stations and ask you right now to go over to the phone and become a member of your public television stations, channels 45 and 49. Now, I have some ways to encourage you to do that, and let me tell you about them right now. Then this is the most exciting one to me. At the $90 a year pledge level, we have a VHS video cassette of the program you're enjoying right now, Glenn Miller's Greatest Hits, #2, with the Glenn Miller Orchestra. You know how much you love the program, and wouldn't it even be better to watch this program anytime you want in your home by just popping it into your VCR? Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. As I told you, this is available for your completed pledge at the $90 a year level. But whatever level fits your family's budget, do give us a call now. It's important that you support the kinds of programs that you enjoy seeing on your public television station. Odds are the people down the street aren't watching right now. They're not going to be calling in their support for your favorite program. That's up to you to do, and I do it right now at 1-800-672-4549. Boy, we've got some exciting things to tell you about here tonight on channels 45 and 49. And to tell you one of them right now, Karen Conklin from Youngstown, Ohio. Karen.
Thanks, Pat. You know, this is wonderful music, memory music. Brings back lots of memories for me. I can remember dancing with my dad to this music, so it's very, very special. There's something new this time on your public television station, and we're taking the opportunity to really do two things. We're acknowledging some of the wonderful donors to public television, members, and they are, in one way, challenging you to join them in their membership to their public television family. Some of those members are Ruth Rausch from Dover, Sandra Longshore from Columbiana, Sabina Limo from Euclid, Lynn Bessie from North Canton, Ronald Schneider from West Salem, April Talley from Akron, Gene Davis from Salem, and we have some more we're going to tell you about later. These are people that know the benefits of their public television station. They contribute regularly, they help keep these wonderful programs on the air, and they're challenging you to help do the same. Your contribution of $5 a month, $10 a month on the installment plan or on your bank charge card can really make a difference to this public television station. That's why we're here. It's public television, and you're the public. Won't you help us by by going to the phone and making that call right now. With us in the studio are the volunteers from the Northeastern Ohio Paralegal Association, and we want to put them to work, but you have to help us do that. You have to go to your phone, 800-672-4549. Pat?
You can be so proud if you live in any of the communities that Karen just mentioned. You can be proud all over Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania and Northern West Virginia, knowing that there are people in your community that support quality programming here on channels 45 and 49. Thank you so much if you're one of them, but if you're not right now, this is the time for you to get over to the phone and dial 1-800-672-4549. You know, throughout the year, we're bringing you quality musical programming here on channels 45 and 49, the best musical programming available. We think it's an alternative to the kind of stuff that's out there on commercial TV and cable TV. Don't you agree? Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. Make a difference with your pledge. $60 a year, $90 a year, whatever your family's budget can afford, though. Give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. Karen?
Well, of course, the other nice thing is then you'll get every month the alternative, the program guide, and you'll know when all of your favorite shows are on. Glenn Miller Trivia. Did you know that Glenn Miller only was popular for 8 years, not popular for 8 years, but his band only played for 8 years before he was killed in that tragic plane crash? I just read it in the alternative, and it seems like Glenn Miller has been around forever. A fact in your alternative, and something that, along with lots of other program bits that you'll find out when you join our family. 800-672-4549, that's how it's done. You can put it on your bank charge card. You can put it on monthly installments. A basic membership is only $35, and at any level that you're comfortable, we would gladly accept your gift to your public television station. Pat, I'm going to go through a few more names here, if that's all right with you. Ernest Schwab from Akron, Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Schneider from Sebring, Ms. Mary Ann Skinner from Hartville, Ronald and Ruth Herval from Wadsworth, Mary Collins from Akron, Johanna Tribley from Greenville, Pennsylvania, Walter Turner from North Jackson, and Angelo Godino from Cleveland. Thank you all to you wonderful members, and I just know some of your friends and neighbors are going to recognize your name now that it's been mentioned on the air, and hopefully they'll call here and say, I'm calling because of you. 800-672-4549. Pat?
Absolutely. It takes about a minute of your time. Remember, our volunteers are nice people, by the way. As Karen told you, they're from the Northeastern Ohio Paralegal Association. They're giving up their Sunday evening to help you become a member of your public television station. They're easy to talk to. Take that minute of your time and give them a call at 1-800-672-4549. I want to remind you one more time about the thank you gift that we have available for you right now at the $90 a year level. That's this wonderful VHS video cassette of the music you're enjoying tonight with Glenn Miller's greatest hits, Volume 2. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. Consider using your Visa, MasterCard, Discover card, or American Express card, charging your pledge, and becoming an instant member of channels 45 and 49. If you do that, the $90 a year level, we can get this video cassette out to your home even more quickly. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. It's something you've been meaning to do for a while. This is the time you want to make that pledge, make that commitment to quality programming right now. Karen?
Well, I don't think there's any question about the fact that you're not going to find this program anyplace else but on your public television station. You know, that mass audience that has to be there to support that program just isn't there. Yet when you watch a show on commercial television, you go to the grocery store and you buy something that you've seen advertised on the commercial television station, that's what keeps those shows on the air. And that's fine. That's how they operate. We're a little different. We're public television and you're the public. We operate one call at a time. When you say, oh, this Glenn Miller show is absolutely wonderful. I love it. I love all the how-to shows, the wonderful nature shows, and I love enough to pledge my dollar support behind it. 800-672-4549. That's how it's done. Pat told you can put it on your bank charge card. We can make it as easy for you as possible, but you have to take the first step. You're going to feel terrific once you join your public television station, too. Pat, you're dropping things over there.
I'm dropping things over here. Well, I didn't drop the one thing that I needed, which is the program guide, the alternative. I think we told you about it earlier, but this is a magazine that comes out to your home each month before the beginning of that month so that you can sit down with your family and decide on the kinds of quality programs you want to watch on your public television station, channels 45 and 49. Now, this comes into your home every month for a year when you become a member of channels 45 and 49, and it couldn't be easier and it couldn't be more affordable. Membership at channels 45 and 49 begins at just $35 a year. So pick a level that fits your family's budget, maybe the $35 a year level, maybe the $90 a year level to get that VHS video cassette of this great music into your home. Whatever level, though, that fits your family's budget, give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. Don't sit back and let this go on without you participating. Take this opportunity right now to make that call to 1-800-672-4549.
Well, you know, I feel very confident that channels 45, 49 have earned your support. And I say that because you have children, you probably have grandchildren that have grown up on Sesame Street and all of the wonderful children's programs. You know, we're here for you 365 days out of the year. And come on, folks, you know, most of the time, totally uninterrupted. You flip that remote control and there's your favorite public television station. We're only here a couple times a year, March, August, you know, December, and maybe one or two other campaigns. We're here because we have to be. It's your dollars that buy the programs that help keep your favorite shows on the air. That's how it works. 800-672-4549, that's the number to call. Let me ask you a question. Have you been thinking about becoming a member for a long time? I live in Youngstown, and people say, oh, Karen, you know, the next time that 45 does their pledge drive, I'm going to join. Well, this is the next time, so if you're one of my friends out there, won't you please make that call right now. Pat?
And even if you don't like Karen, give us a call. If you're one of your friends, they're probably already a member, I hope. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. It only takes about a minute of your time. You know, we've made it as easy as we possibly can for you to become a member of channels 45 and 49. We like to say the only way we could do it and make it more easy or make it easier would be for us to reach through the TV and dial the phone for you. We can't do that, although I understand that's going to be possible with the internet soon. No, I'm just kidding. We can't do that for you, so it's up to you to take the next step and give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. That's the only way it could be easier, is if we can make the call, because remember, it's a toll-free call from anywhere in our viewing area, anywhere in Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, or Northern West Virginia. 1-800-672-4549 will get you into the studio toll-free. You can use an installment plan of $5 or $10 a month. You pick the level and let us know what level fits your family's budget. You can use your major credit card, Visa, Discover, MasterCard, American Express card. However you want to do it, it's as easy as a toll-free call to 1-800-672-4549. Less than a minute before we get back into Glenn Miller, Karen, I'm going to let you take them in.
All right, because I can't wait to get into this program. Are you ready to start tapping your toes to some terrific music? And when you're watching this next segment, please think about joining your public television station. You're not going to find Glenn Miller's wonderful music any place but on your public television station. What's that worth in support? Hopefully $5 or $10 a month, and you're going to get that wonderful feeling that you're contributing to something so terrific in this community. Every night we're here for you. Won't you please go to that phone right now, 800-672-4549. Thank you.
I come from a musical family, and I grew up singing along to the music of the big bands. Maybe one of the reasons I always loved Glenn Miller is because his band featured the sax players, and my daddy was a pretty good sax player.
Miller created a trademark sound consisting of reeds, 4 saxophones, and a clarinet. So what you had were arrangements that were very rhythmic, very punchy, very to the point, precisely the kind of music that dancers required in order to get moving.
So rich. It makes me want to move and just have a lot of fun. It's a very fun kind of music, just swinging around.
get a load of that moon.
Look at those stars, we get it all for free.
All the pretty birdies sing for
People like you and me.
your bird of rose and the red.
Violets or blue, that's corny poetry.
Baby corn is just the thing for people like you and me. Folks may say we're antiquated.
If they do, who cares?
So we're not sophisticated.
Leave it to the millionaires.
I'm gonna stick to the moon.
Stay with the stars, that's my philosophy. Nature must have pulled a string for people like you and me. Say, get a load of those guys, fly in the skies, wing into victory.
Up and at 'em in the fight for people like you and me.
Say, get a load of those guys, doing their jobs, keeping the sea lanes free.
Just to make the future bright for people like you and me.
You must put your Yankee heart and soul in everything you do. Keep 'em flying, keep 'em rolling. Uncle Sam will see you through.
We'll have to roll up our sleeves,
Tighten our belts, run through the dark, we'll see the lady with the liberty life for people like you and you and you and people like me, people like you and me.
The Moonlight Serenaders.
My real favorites were the ballads, were the pretty things, Rhapsody in Blue, Serenade in Blue, and things like that. They were the biggest thrill to me.
Glenn Miller's version of Rhapsody in Blue is a unique combination of the arranging skills of Bill Finnegan and the composing genius of George Gershwin.
Glenn Miller's music means stability to America, especially people over a certain age. But nowadays, more and more young people are catching on to the fact that it's nice to have a melody, and it's nice to be able to understand the lyrics to a song.
I think Glenn Miller's music is pretty much universal. You know, a lot of people can relate to it, no matter what age they are. He's got great music to dance to.
Glenn Miller's popularity grew month by month and hit by hit. Record crowds turned up at the nation's largest venues. Here's a song that won him tens of thousands of new fans.
That certain night, the night we met, there was magic abroad in the air. There were angels dining at the Ritz, and a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm perfectly willing to swear that when you turned and smiled at me, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. The moon that lingered over London town, poor puzzled moon, he wore a frown. How could he know we two were so in love? The whole darn world seemed upside down. The streets of town were paved with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And when we kissed and said goodnight, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. Mr. Bill Cordova. Like an echo far away, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square.
Jeff Collins, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the most popular melodies of the swing era was In the Mood. Believe it or not, this song was turned down by Artie Shaw, who thought it was too simple. Glenn Miller's version raced to the #1 spot and stayed on the charts for an astounding 30 weeks.
We were playing at the Glen Island Casino, and someone brought In the Mood into Glenn. And Glenn tried it through, and he thought, well, you know, we could do something with this. And so he tried it out on the dancers there in Glen Island, and it really went over big. Yeah, they loved it.
Cordova, our dueling tenors, our trumpet section. Everybody.
No, it's not over yet. More of Glenn Miller's greatest hits are waiting for you. The beautiful Stardust and everyone's favorite Moonlight Serenade. Where else can you get great music and great memories like these except on public television? So make that phone call right now. This public television station is counting on your financial support now more than ever. Yes, we'll be right back. Oh, thanks.
Spending tonight helping you to make new great memories of this music. So the people that you're sitting around with tonight enjoying the music, you'll have the memory of watching this on channels 45 and 49. We think that's a great thing to do, and we think that you want to help us do that by becoming a member of your public television station, channels 45 and 49. We love the music, you love the music. About 30,000 families in Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and Northern West Virginia are already members of channels 45 and 49. They've told us that this is important music, and they put their money forward to help pay for these programs that you enjoy so much and that they enjoy so much. Right now, we're asking you to take part. Become an active participant in public television by calling us at 1-800-672-4549. When you call, we've got some great volunteers from the Northeastern Ohio Paralegal Association. This is their last break with us this evening. They've given up so much of their evening to help you to become a member of channels 45 and 49, and we want them to go out with these phones really ringing off the hook. How do we do that? We get you to call and become a member of channels 45 and 49. Now, to encourage you to do that, I've got a great thank you gift, a great way to say thank you for your completed pledge at the $90 a year level. It's Glenn Miller's Greatest Hits Volume 2, the VHS video cassette of the very program you're enjoying tonight, except one thing. Karen and I won't be here bothering you, asking you to become a member. Why not? You'll already be a member. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. Pledge your support at the $90 a year level and have this VHS video cassette coming into your home. Now, let's talk about some other membership levels that are available here at channels 45 and 49. They go all the way from $250 a year, which is our very important partner level. That's a great level, by the way, if you have a small business or maybe a professional practice, because you'll get recognition both on the air at channels 45 and 49 and in our program guide that goes out to 30,000 families all over the area. So consider that level, or whatever level fits your family's budget. Remember, membership at channels 45 and 49 begins at just $35 a year. We try to make it affordable to help you become a member of your public television station. We do what we can to encourage you to become a member, but the decision has to be yours. Make that decision. Give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. Now, I've got a person in the studio with me. If you haven't decided, if you're not dialing yet, she's going to get you over to that phone. Karen Conklin. Karen.
Thanks, Pat. You know, this wonderful evening of Glenn Miller music is not the only musical special during the month of March here on your public television station. I was looking at a list of them. What a fabulous lineup they have. Keep America Singing, Peter, Paul, and Mary are back, Pavarotti is back, Marvin Hamlish and the Pittsburgh Pops. I'll bet that's a great one. Roger Whittaker, Itzhak Perlman special, tunes of Tommy Dorsey, Elvis on tour. So lots of wonderful music during the month of March on your public television station. You know, there's something happening a little differently this year on the March campaign at 4549. We're able to take a couple minutes and say thank you to some of you who are already members of your public television station, and you have given us permission to mention your name on the air in the hopes that some of your friends might take up your challenge and join your public television station. So if I might, I'm going to read a few of these. Haley Kapeler from Dover, Clyde Leatherman from Worcester, John Howard, Chagrin Falls, Reese Willis from Boardman, Phyllis Flannery, Carrollton, Elvins, Burkholder, Orville, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Thompson, Jamestown, Pennsylvania, Catherine McCutcheon, Massillon, Raymond Holloway, Youngstown. I think I'll stop at Youngstown since that's where I'm from, and we'll do some more names later. Pat.
Absolutely. You've heard your community mentioned on the air. You know there are people in your community that are doing their part to make it happen here on channels 45 and 49 with their membership pledge at channels 45 and 49. They're saying to you, get over to your phone, Don't just sit there. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. You know it's something you've been meaning to do for a long time. This is the time to do it right now during this special March Pledge campaign. Become a member of your public television station. I can't tell you how good it feels. It's a wonderful feeling. It's just like when you're doing something good any other time. You get that warm feeling inside. That's how you're going to feel all year long because you're a member of your public television station, channels 45 and 49. When you see the little logo at the end of one of your favorite programs that says, brought to you by members of channels 45 and 49, they'll be talking about you. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Karen.
Pat, I want to maybe expand on that just a little bit because, you know, we all give to charities, and a lot of times we give to charities in the hopes that we don't have to use them. Public television is something that when you give your philanthropic dollars, you get to use it 365 days a year, and Pat told you most of the time when we're not here bothering you, asking you for your financial support. You know, April 15th is also right around the corner, and if you were a member of channels 45, 49 last year, you would be able to tax deductible to legal limits, use your gift to public television. So if you call now, you can do it next year. I got a few more names on our very important member list that I have in front of me. William Wilson from Hudson, Philip Zerlecki from Greenville, Pennsylvania, Louise Snyder from Youngstown, Charles Phillips from Canal Fulton, Timothy Klinger from Akron, and Rosemary Lauer from Girard. So thank you, all you members. Pat?
Absolutely. Thank you, especially to those members who've made the additional gift to encourage you, to challenge you to call right now and become a member of your public television station. 30,000 families all over Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and Northern West Virginia have made the commitment to quality programming. They've become members of your public television station, and they're waiting to hear from you right now at 1-800-672-4549. And what better time than right now during this great musical evening on channels 45 and 49 when you have this great thank you gift available. For your completed pledge at the $90 a year level, remember we have Glenn Miller's Greatest Hits Volume 2 available on VHS video cassette for you to have in your home and to play whenever you want to listen to some great music. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. Use your Visa, MasterCard, Discover card, or American Express card, or use a check. However you want to do it, give us a call and make that pledge, make that commitment right now. Karen?
And where does your money go? It goes to buy your programs. Programs that every time you turn on your television, your favorite shows are going to be there. The programs cost not hundreds of dollars, folks. They cost thousands and thousands of dollars to buy programs to broadcast on your public television station. And if you're getting us on a cable system, we love those cable companies because they keep that signal coming strong into your home. But none of that money comes to your public television station. It's public television. It's kind of like pay TV on the honor system. So if you watch a lot of public television, if we are the station you tune into all the time, please show us that. Show us that you care and that you appreciate having great quality programming all year round by getting to your phone right now. 800-672-4549. And as Pat told you, you're going to feel terrific once you join our family. Pat?
Because you're doing a terrific thing. I want you to think about the state of television in the United States right now. Think about the kinds of programs that are out there for kids, for families, on commercial TV and cable TV. We know what kind of programming's out there, and it's not good, but think about the kinds of programs that we bring into homes every day of the year here at channels 45 and 49. Educational programming, instructional programming, programming that reinforces the good values that parents in our communities are teaching their kids. Give us a call to support that kind of programming right now at 1-800-672-4549. Between the two of us, Karen and I have 8 children. We know how important this programming is. I think you do too. That's why we support public television. Why don't you support public television with your call at 1-800-672-4549? You know it's a wonderful thing to do. Now we're just asking you to make that commitment to public television programming. Karen?
Well, also, when you call around a particular show, if this is a show that you're just sitting back and saying, wow, this is one of the greatest things that they've had on all year, now is a great time to call, because when all is said and done, Don Freeman really looks at the number of calls that come in around a particular program. And if, boy, that volume of support is there, you can pretty much be guaranteed that that's a show you're going to see again, or that same type of programming is going to be on your favorite public television station. 800-672-4549. These terrific volunteers have been here for several hours, giving up their Sunday. Won't you please just walk to your phone and make that call, 800-672-4549. 888-4549. Pat, take us into the show.
Guys, you've been here all this time. How do you like those lights? Aren't they great? Yeah, a little bit hot out here. Thank you so very much for giving up your evening. If you haven't called right now in the comfort of your living room, do give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. As Karen told you, in just a few seconds, we'll be going back into this great music, but we'll still be here. Our volunteers are going to stand by a little bit longer, even after the program begins at 800-672-4549. We want you to enjoy it, but we want you to give us a call right now.
You're enjoying viewer-supported television, channels 45 and 49.
Glenn Miller's versatile talent could transform almost any tune he heard into a big new hit. He was inspired by folk songs and opera and everything in between. And he could get couples dancing and swinging to just about anything.
With Glenn, playing for people is a business. There's no question about that. We did a couple of Mickey Mouse things, the Three Little Fishes and Itty Bitty Pooh and things like that. But then people say, well, did the band swing? And I often say, well, have you ever heard the record of When Johnny Comes Marching Home? Have you ever heard the Volga Bootman and things like that? Those things swing wonderfully.
With songs like that, it's easy to see why Glenn Miller beat out Benny Goodman, Count Basie, and 25 others in a battle of the bands on this very stage in 1940.
It was one of a kind. Not only the quality, but the instrumentalism of the orchestra was just not to be matched. It was just so identifiable with Glenn Miller. And that era was wonderful. It was really such a devil-may-care era, where when you heard that kind of music, all you wanted to do was dance. And if you had a good partner, it was heaven. There's a warm kind of nostalgia when you think of Glenn Miller and the era in which he played. There was an escape. When you heard his music, you sort of forgot about the troubles of the world.
Just as World War II started, Glenn Miller was packing the fans in, making movies in Hollywood, recording gold records, and entertaining the troops here at home. But that wasn't enough. So in 1942, he enlisted in the Army, disbanded the civilian orchestra, and reconstituted it as the Glenn Miller Army Air Force Band. It wasn't long before Captain Glenn Miller was able to take the band overseas right up to the front lines.
I was in England at the 8th Air Force, and Glenn Miller landed at our airfield, and I remember seeing him. Of course, he represented home up to the nth degree. The GIs just loved him. He was very, very much part of our lives at that time.
Back home, everything was a reminder that the world was at war. Ration books, salvage drives, war bonds, even the lyrics to some love songs sounded a little like they came from the front lines. Take this one from Orchestra Wives by Harry Warren and Mark Gordon. It was called That's Sabotage.
Baby, what's wrong with you? I can't get along with you. When it comes to romance, you're never in the mood. I say yes, you say no. I say stop, you say go. Lately, honey, I can't understand your attitude. If you don't thrill me like you used to thrill me, that's sabotage. If you don't kiss me like you used to kiss me, that's sabotage. When you hear sirens screaming, those be alert alarms. Don't run helter-skelter, there's a bomb-proof shelter in my arms. If you don't thrill me like you used to thrill me, that's sabotage. Some fifth column jerk did his dirty work and changed your mind about me. I can't sleep, I've got to keep my FBI on you. 'Cause if you've been untrue, that's sabotage. Used to kiss me, that's sabotage. Some fifth column jerk did his dirty work and changed your mind about me. I can't sleep, I've got to keep my FBI on you. 'Cause baby, you've become a habit. Please don't go and try to grab it. If you've been untrue,
when Glenn left England in a light plane to fly to France, and of course never returned from that trip, Glenn had several cases of empty champagne bottles aboard. And the reason was that you couldn't buy champagne in France during World War II unless you had a returnable, unless you had a case of empty bottles to give them. So he fully expected to come back. And of course, it never happened.
The time that we heard that Glenn Miller was in an accident and nobody could find him, everybody was in shock. You know, nobody believed it. Said, oh, they're going to find him, you know, somewhere in the channel or something.
It took a few days to realize that this marvelous orchestra leader was no longer with us.
It is no small tribute to the man that everyone liked Glenn Miller. Everyone respected him, especially his own musicians, because he challenged them to do their very best all the time, as he expected of himself. Despite his brief life and only a few years in the limelight, Glenn Miller became an American legend whose music continues to touch us today.
Glenn personified a certain aspect of American music. There's no question about it, much more than any other band. You can go to foreign countries now and you start to talk about bands, they want you to talk about Glenn Miller.
One of the most evocative theme songs of the big band era was Moonlight Serenade, written by Glenn Miller.
Moonlight Serenade is a beautiful thing, and Glenn wrote it as an exercise, just a musical exercise, and it's probably the most popular theme song that there ever was. I'm sure of that.
Miller opened and closed every broadcast and concert with it, so it's only fitting that we close this concert with his enchanting theme. I'd like to thank Larry O'Brien and the Glenn Miller Orchestra for letting me join them tonight. A special thank you to our announcer, Ed Herlihy, who is one of the original announcers of Glenn Miller's radio show in 1942. And thank you at home for joining us on this marvelous musical journey. If you're a fan of public television like I am, then I know you'll continue to support these fine programs. Please call this public television station with a generous financial pledge and ensure more quality programs for the whole family. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you.
Thank you, Kathy and Larry, for taking us all back to those happy years when we were all in the dancing mood with one of America's musical giants, Glenn Miller. This is Ed Hurley signing off.
Okay, we know you enjoyed tonight's program, and we want to remind you that this really is the only place that you're going to get to see this kind of programming here on your public television stations. Now, this is great programming, but audience size is the important factor for commercial TV and cable TV. They have to earn enough money to make a profit for their stockholders. It's as simple as that. We don't have to do that on public TV. The only people we have to please are the people of Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and Northern West Virginia who have told us that this is important programming to them, important enough that they've become members of channels 45 and 49. Now's your chance to have your voice heard by giving us a call at 1-800-672-4549 and pledging for the kinds of programs that you appreciate here on your public television station. I'm trying to think, but over the course of this program, we've had over 30 people give us a call and make that pledge and make that commitment. Right now, we're looking for you to make that commitment. 1-800-672-4549. Pledge your support for quality programming on your public television stations. Now, if you can call in and make your pledge at the $90 a year level, for your completed pledge at that level, we've got the program you enjoyed tonight, Glenn Miller's Greatest Hits Volume 2, on a VHS video cassette. That way you get this in your home, you pop it in your video cassette player whenever you want, and you can watch the program without any interruptions, knowing that the reason you're getting this is because you've supported your public television station. Give us a call, 1-800-672-4549. It couldn't be an easier thing to do. It just takes that extra push, that extra commitment to get over to that phone and dial 1-800-672-4549. My name's Pat Fatone. I'm from the staff of Channels 45 and 49. We've got some new volunteers with us in the studio for the rest of the evening from Pilgrim United Church of Christ, waiting to help you to become a member of Channels 45 and 49 and to convince you to make that call right now. Karen Conklin. Karen?
Thanks, Pat. And our group is from Cuyahoga Falls, so if you are tuning in from Cuyahoga Falls, you'll probably see some of your friends and maybe some of your neighbors. So that's another reason for you to go to the phone and make that call right now. This wonderful Glenn Miller show that you just saw, and if you really enjoyed it, now is a great time to call. I said earlier in one of the breaks that John Freeman, the program director, really does look at the number of calls that come in around a particular show. So if this was one of your favorites, get in that call right now. 800-672-4549, that's how it's done. And I have some wonderful volunteers and our new members of public television that have given us permission to use their names. And it's a member challenge, something a little different here in this March campaign. And if I may, I'm going to share some of their names with you. I've decided that Pat gave me the hard job reading everybody's names, so bear with me here. Donald Howren from Warren, Mary Lou Keglovic from Aurora, Robert Bradfield from Atwater, Michael Creasy from Garrettsville, Grace Heel from Akron, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Higgy from Akron, and Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Deschamps from Diamond. Just some members of public television, your family, that are going to help challenge you, and hopefully you'll recognize their name and call because of them. 800-672-4549. Takes about 60 seconds to join our PBS family. Pat?
Absolutely. If you've been thinking about becoming a member of Channels 45 and 49, you can't decide how much money to pledge to Channels 45 and 49? Well, we've got some suggested membership levels that we can put up on the screen for you in just a couple seconds. But think about those levels and think about what your family's budget can afford for public television. Those are the important criteria right there. These programs mean a lot to you, but do something that's feasible for your family's budget, whether that's $5 or $10 a month or a $60 membership or a $120 membership. However it works for your family, give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. And remember that membership in your public television stations begins at just $35 a year. We think it's very very affordable for most families. If it's affordable for your family, give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. Why? Because you want to support the quality programming that's available on public television and on public television alone. It's not out there on commercial TV or cable TV. It's right here on your public television stations, channels 45 and 49. Karen?
And if you can't afford to give us a contribution, won't you please do so right now? You know, when you go to the grocery store, you don't expect the person in front of you or behind you in line to pay for your groceries. You take on that burden yourself to feed your family. Well, when you belong to public television, you're kind of like feeding the educational part of your family's good health. All the wonderful shows, the nature show that's coming up shortly, the how-to shows, the wonderful, wonderful children's programming, and the great music here on your public television station. And it's here because of members who in the past campaigns have pledged their financial dollars so that we can buy the programs. So when you call in your pledge, that's what we do with it. We take that money and put it into programs so when you turn on your television, your favorite program's going to be there. Won't you join our family, 800-672-4549? And if I may, I'm going to share with you some other members of our public television family. Sherry Nyako from Lake Milton, Eugene Genter from Akron, Geraldine Faust from Columbiana, Mary James from Canton, Dr. Thomas Schreiber from Ravenna, Sharon Snyder from Massillon, Frank Adams from Warrensville, and Lloyd Himes from Canton. And we are so grateful to all of you members of public television, and thank you for letting us share your names with everybody out there. 800-672-4549, that's how it's done. Won't you make that call right now? You're going to feel terrific once you do, right, Pat?
You know, Karen, you may have thought that was a harder job, but you do such a great job of it. I couldn't ask for anyone to do a better job, so I'm thinking we can keep you doing that. I don't know. But thank you, really. All those members that Karen's reading to you have made additional pledges. These are people who are already members of channels 45 and 49. They've made an additional pledge, and they're saying to you, this is your challenge to get up and go over to the phone and dial 1-800-672-4549. These are people that enjoy these programs enough to make a commitment, to make their pledge of support, and we're asking you to do the same thing right now by calling us at 1-800-672-4549. Consider making your pledge using your Visa, MasterCard, Discover card, American Express card. However you want to do it, though, give us that call right now. 1-800-672-4549. Take about a minute of your time to speak to our volunteers from the Pilgrim United Church of Christ. They're waiting to help you become a member of your public television station. Don't let them go down. Give us a call. 1-800-672-4549. Karen?
You know, in my other life, I'm the director of the Lakes River Girl Scout Council, and that's what I do for a living. And I'm fortunate because I have wonderful volunteers. I also have lots of cookies right now that are just coming in. Public television doesn't have our advantage. It doesn't have cookies, but it has to rely on you, the public, in public television, to help keep the PBS strong in northeastern Ohio. You know, over 60% of the dollars to run your public television station come from you, and they come one pledge at a time. There, thank you, gentlemen and ladies. So you see the 63% up there? That 16% is from the federal government, 21% is from the state government, and the biggest piece of that pie is from you, the public and public television, who care enough to keep quality programs on the air 365 days out of the year, most of the time when we're not here asking for your pledge, for your support. 800-672-4549, $5 or $10 a month on the installment plan. Let me ask you something. If a bill came into your home for $5 a month from public television, from channels 45, 49, would that be the smallest bill in your home a month? What about $10? I'll bet at either of those levels it'd still be the smallest bill, and it would be at my house. Won't you please pledge whatever you can afford to your PBS station right now, Pat?
Karen was telling you where the money comes from channels 45 and 49, and we right now know where some of the money is not coming from. Actually, we've been saying for months, and you've been hearing in the news for months, that federal funding for public television was going to decrease. Well, it has decreased, and we know the amounts of that decrease right now, and we can show that to you. For instance, in fiscal year 1996, federal funding is cut 13% from money that was already appropriated and budgeted by public television stations all over the country. In the next fiscal year, 21% reduction in federal funding. We don't know what's going to be happening in the future, but we do know that this proves our point that local support by people just like you is the most important source of income for public television. That's why we're coming to you right now and saying, We may not be able to count on some politician in Washington. Boy, what a surprise. Weren't you shocked to know that? But we can count on the real people in Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and Northern West Virginia who watch these programs and enjoy these programs to come through for us and support the kinds of programs that they think are important on public television. We're depending on you with your call at 1-800-672-4549. It's never been more important than right now for you to make that call. Karen?
Well, you know, Pat, I don't know about at your house, but my house, I almost get confused anymore. There's quality television, there's quantity television. I flip that channel, there's so much stuff out there, but my finger keeps going back to public television. And I've decided it's because that's where the quality is. That's where I can be educated and illuminated, I can learn something, I can sit back and enjoy wonderful music like we have for the last hour and a half. That's what public television, it's a treasure. Keep that treasure in our community, and you do that by calling in your pledge of financial support. 800-672-4549. I'm holding a copy of The Alternative. This is our program guide, and this comes to you each month with your pledge of $35 or more. Then you'll know when all of your favorite shows are on. And what I like about it, it gives you some fun background information about all of the shows. And you know what? If you're getting us on a cable station or system and you think that some of that money you send to the cable company comes back to us, oh, don't we wish it did. It doesn't, folks. The only dollars that come to us are those that you make available. And you do it one call at a time. 800-672-4549. We're going into this wonderful, wonderful nature program, but our great volunteers are still going to be here waiting for you to call. And you know what? Once you pledge your support, you're going to feel terrific. You're doing something great for all of us.
This program is made possible by annual financial support from viewers like you.
Our volunteers provide. They are Aramark Refreshment Services, Helen Sainer Boyer, the Dandy Potato Chip Company, Maduri Brothers Produce in Ravenna, and Palcho's Donut Shop in Kent. Our volunteers thank you for your generous contributions, which make their time with us more pleasant.
This program is made possible by annual financial support from viewers like you.
From Peru to Cebu. Why is it that we don't always recognize the moment when love begins, but we always know when it ends?
Teacher, and they both knew it.
Frank Sinatra had plenty of talent when we first met up with him, and that's been evidenced by his remaining right up there along with the top vocalists in the country. He had the talent, and we had the showcase, and the two things worked well together.
People like Tommy, who's the best example I know, play a trombone and sound as though he never took a breath at all. For maybe 16 bars at a time. I thought, I wonder how he does that. I found out in later years when I was working with him and for him that he was breathing in the corner of his mouth. But I watched him, and I began to realize what he was doing, and I learned to do that.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart and mind embraces all day through.
They used to call the guys who sang with the big bands boy singers because most of them were so young. Frank Sinatra was 20 years old when he started, which was on the late side for those days. But here's someone who has been working with big and small bands since he was just 12 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, in the great tradition of the big bands, our boy singer, Walt Andrus.
Without a song, the day would never end.
Without a song, the road would never bend. When things go wrong, a man ain't got a friend without a song. That field of corn would never see a plow. That field of corn would be deserted now. Man is born, he ain't no good no how without a song.
I went to the Paramount Theater, and Tommy Dorsey's band was playing, and that was when Frank Sinatra started singing with him, little skinny kid. And they had Bobby Soxers in the first few rows, screaming and yelling, "Frankie, Frankie."
Well, the gals were crazy. It was not a publicity gimmick. Frank Sinatra just had all that marvelous charisma and sex appeal.
I've got my trouble and woe, but sure as I know, the Jordan will roll and I'll get along as long as the song is strong in my soul. I'll never know what makes the rain to fall. I'll never know what makes the grass so tall. I only know there ain't no love at all without a song. I have got my trouble and woe, but sure as I know, the Jordan is gonna roll and I'll get along as long as that song it's strung in my soul. I'll never know what makes that rain to fall. I'll never know what makes the grass grow tall. I only know there ain't no love at all without a song. Without a
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the big ones for the Dorsey Band. Originally a vocal with Jack Leonard and a group called the Esquires. And later on, when Jimmy rejoined Tommy, it became this instrumental called Once in a While. Here we go.
I was in the Navy. I was a plane captain on an SNJ in Pensacola, Florida. The first time I ever saw women scream in front of a band was at boot camp, and we had a show one night. You know, after you've been marching and marching and marching for 6 weeks, we finally had entertainment on Saturday night, and it was just absolutely fantastic. What a great show.
Canteen was so important, and we would go over and sing afternoons, and we're there constantly with the boys coming in, and if the whole band didn't go, we'd go with our rhythm section and Tommy'd go.
I joined the USO, and the USO troops, we had 4 troops, and we would come, be assigned a certain time to come, and stand by the pillars hoping a soldier would ask us to dance. There were matrons that walked around through the dance floor, and if you were dancing too close, she'd peck you on the shoulder, and you had to back off.
Pied Pipers came in, and as a vocal group, they were sensational. They had sounds that were new to the American public. And, of course, Joe Stafford was perhaps the greatest lead singer that they ever had.
There have been a lot of Pied Pipers over the years. When Tommy discovered them, there were 11, then 8, then 4. Here's our foursome, with Lynn Roberts taking the part originally sung by Joe Stafford.
I'll never smile again until I smile at you. I'll never laugh again. What good would it do? For tears would fill my eyes, my heart would realize that our romance is through. I'll never love again. I'm so in love with you. I'll never thrill again to somebody new. Within my heart, I know I will never start to smile again until I smile at you.
I smile at you. Until I smile at you.
That beautiful song, recorded in 1940, was Frank Sinatra's first #1 single, and you still hear it played on the radio. It's one of those records that reached perfection, the beautiful blend of the voices of the Pied Pipers, Joe Stafford and Frank, very slow tempo that was somewhat unique for the era, and all of it pegged to the phrasing of Tommy's trombone.
Until I smile at you.
In the mid-40s, the Pied Pipers were the stars of a radio show with a theme written by Johnny Mercer. That tune gave them their first gold record and became their own trademark.
Okinawa. And all of these guys were sitting around, whether it was muddy, rainy, whatever. We would play an up tune, and of course everything was joyful. Then we play a ballad, and you could see the tears in their eyes. It all reminded them of back home.
Things never are as bad as they seem. So dream, dream.
I worked with Lynn very briefly on Tommy's band. She was the epitome of what Tommy liked as a singer, and she today could still do that same thing. Looks great and sounds great.
I get too hungry for dinner at 8. I like the theater, but never come late. I never bother with people I hate. That's why the lady is a tramp. I don't like crap games with barons and earls. Won't go to Harlem in ermines and pearls. without care. I'm broke, that's oak. In California, it's cold and it's damp. That's why the lady is a tramp. Let me hear that band.
When we'd have a night off, we'd go up to the Astor Roof or over to the Cafe Rouge, and Frank was with the band. I met him there and everything, and of course we admired his singing very much.
The guy's a great, great singer, and his phrasing was impeccable. His voice was just perfect for the Tommy Dorsey band.
Frank learned all of this from Tommy, and to this day, if he's sitting around with a group of musicians, the only thing he talks about is his days with Tommy Dorsey's band.
I like the green grass under my shoes. What can I lose? I'm flat, that's that. I'm all alone when I lower my lamp. That's why the lady, that's why the lady, that's why the lady is a
The unmistakable sound of big band music transports us back to the days of World War II America. American guys and gals looked forward to the time when they could get back to the ballrooms and dance to numbers like this one, Tommy Dorsey's first million-selling record, The Fabulous Marie.
Marie, girl of my dreams, I want to right here to find your heart is aching, tears will fall as you recall the moon in all its splendor, that kiss so warm and tender, the words spoken as it came from me. Won't you surrender, Marie?
Take a bow, everybody.
After the break, Our show begins with one of Tommy's biggest hits, a dance number that will make you want to roll up the rug, as they used to say. But before you do, please call this station with a generous pledge of support. Your call and this fabulous music will really make them feel like dancing.
Incomparable musical programming here on channels 45 and 49. The kinds of programs you don't see on commercial TV or cable TV, but right here on your public television stations, channels 45 and 49. Right now, we want you to go over to the phone and support this kind of programming with your pledge at 1-800-672-4549. Please take about a minute of your time and become a member of channels 45 and 49 because you believe in this kind of programming and all the great programs that you watch on your public television station, channels 45 and 49. We've got some thank you gifts here, and that's exactly what these are. These are our way to say thank you for your pledge at various pledge levels. At the $120 a year, we've got the program you're enjoying tonight, A Sentimental Journey with the tunes of Tommy Dorsey, available on VHS video cassette. So if you'd like to have this in your home and watch it over and over again, it's yours for a $120 a year pledge. Or we've got the Jazz Collector Edition of Tommy Dorsey's Greatest, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, these are available on CD and audio cassette. The CDs, two CD set, is available for your pledge of $90 a year. The audio cassettes are available for your completed pledge of $60 a year. Lots of membership levels here at channels 45 and 49. Let's show you a few of them right now. You see on the one side, the $250 a year and up, very important partner level. That's a great level, especially if you have a small business or a professional practice. Why is it so good for that? Because you get recognition both on our air and in our program guide that goes out to 30,000 families all over the area. But various membership levels. We've got thank you gifts available at the $120 a year level, $90 a year level, $60 a year level. And remember, membership at your public television stations begins at just $35 a year. By the way, we've got some VIPs in the studio with us this evening. They're volunteering to answer phones tonight and help you become a member of channels 45 and 49. I want to say thanks to all of them, not only for supporting the stations with their money, but with their time. It's a wonderful thing to do, and you can become a supporter of channels 45 and 49 when you give us a call at 1-800-672-4549. My name's Pat Battone. I'm from the staff of channels 45 and 49, and I have our Director of Educational Services, Steve Mitchell, standing by to get you over to the phone right now. Steve.
You know, we have 11 people that have given us a call so far during this portion of the program, and we're trying to get up to 55 over the next couple of breaks. That means we need at least 10, 15 more to give us a call. That's not a very large number. That's why you're so important, because they come in one phone call at a time. All the pledges we've ever gotten, one phone call at a time. That's why you need to go to the telephone and dial 1-800-672-4549 and pledge your support. You know, we have what's called a member challenge fund going on. These are people that are giving 45, 49 a standing ovation already. They stood, they went to the phone, and they said, tell the people out there that we pledged our support, and now it's their turn. We want you to pledge. Now, these are the people who gave us their names and said, pledge your support. Autumn Tollful from Canton, Linda Stentz from Wadsworth, Diane O'Neill from Seville, Mrs. H. Ringelli from Kent, Daniel Adams from Worcester, Mr. and Mrs. William Bush from Greenville, Pennsylvania, Janet Davis from Olmsted. All of these people said, come on, give us a call. Call 4549 and pledge your support. Mr. and Mrs. Robert Simpson from Cuyahoga Falls also called and said, give your support. Alvin and May Hart from Cleveland Heights, Robert Bryan from Burton, Emily Bird from Sharon, Pennsylvania, and Jack Sesko from Sharon, Pennsylvania. Olga Hekio from Fairview Park, and James Brown from Cleveland Heights. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 anonymous donors that said, tell them to call. And they were from Akron, Poland, Youngstown, Farmdale, Warren, and Westlake. All of these people said, use my name. I want to tell people out there to support channels 45, 49 the way I do. It's their way of challenging you. Won't you meet the challenge and go to the phone right now and give us a call at 1-800-672-4549.
Absolutely, Steve. 30,000 families out there all over Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and Northern West Virginia are already members of this public television station. That's how the program you're enjoying tonight got here. They bought it for you. Simple as that. Right now, they're asking you to go over to the phone yourself and become a member and support the kinds of programs that are important to you. Remember, this kind of programming isn't available on commercial TV or cable TV. It's available only because of the members of channels 45 and 49. They're the people that are saying to you right now, go over and become a member yourself. Dial 1-800-672-4549 and pledge your support for quality programming. Programming that really makes a difference in lives of people all over our area, and you can do it so easily. Toll free, 1-800-672-4549. One more time, I want to tell you about some of the thank you gifts we've got available this evening. The program you're watching tonight on VHS video cassette is available for your completed pledge at the $120 a year level, or at the $90 a year level. We've got a CD, a 2-CD set actually, of Tommy Dorsey's The Jazz Collector Edition, Volume 1 and 2. That's available on CDs for $90 a year, or if you'd rather have it on audio cassette, that's available too for $60 a year. But whatever level fits your family's budget, I'd urge you to go over and make that call and pledge your support to channels 45 and 49. You know, you watch all kinds of great programs here, and they're really of value to you and of value to families all over the area. You've been meaning to make that call and pledge your support for those programs. This is the time to do it. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get over to the phone right now and dial 1-800-672-4549. Pledge your support for quality programming. Okay, going back into Tommy Dorsey, we will still be here. We're not going to interrupt you with that phone number, so remember it, 1-800-672-4549.
You're enjoying viewer-supported television, channels 45 and 49.
Americans used to dance in grand style in fantastic ballrooms all across the country. The very sound of the names bring back memories. The Palomar, the Aragon, Roseland, the Palladium, and of course, this one, the Indiana Roof Ballroom.
There were ballrooms all over the country. The smallest town in the world had a ballroom. I even have one in my town, 2,000 people. And we played there a few times, by the way. Dad made me play there.
This was something you look forward to for 2 or 3 years of your life when you went to the Glen Island Casino to see Tommy Dorsey.
All of the walls backstage were covered with the signatures and messages from guys who had played in the bands. And it was always interesting to go into a new place to see who had been there.
We would play Fargo, North Dakota. There was nothing around for miles, and you'd get to this one wooden building that looked like nothing, and it was nothing until it filled with people. And then it was just as beautiful as any gorgeous ballroom, because really people are what makes the difference.
In 1938, Tommy Dorsey recorded a song that got those couples up and out on the dance floor. It was another million seller for Tommy and the anthem of the new dancing craze, Boogie Woogie.
Big band business was a dance band business. It wasn't a concert business. It wasn't a jazz